Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Deceptilab. This is your boy Freeze, and today we got a special guest. We actually got Dale, the community manager from Space Ape, with us, and really just trying to look at a little bit of a end of the year wrap up, and hopefully get a sneak peek at a couple of things in the future. So, um, Dale, how you doing?
Good,
Yeah, awesome,
thank
man.
you to stream. This is my first time on stream with you, so I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I enjoy listening to your streams and watching them, especially because it normally becomes a ritual on my Wednesday. Because I normally just go on YouTube and it says Freezius is streaming, and I'm like, cool. And then I go back and watch all your little things that you've said, and I really do like it when the content creators read the newsletter because it's what we've done. So it's always good to see people commenting on what they're thinking about the game and seeing they're about things, even if it's negative or positive. It's always good to see. So yeah, thanks again. I'm really looking forward to this interview. And I've told you I don't want any easy questions because that'll be too easy for me.
Yeah, so you definitely mentioned that, and that's like thanks for coming on. You're actually the first guest that I've had on the show. I've done guest appearances on everybody else's stuff, so I was like, no, it was cool to actually bring you on. And I think at the end of the year like that, it's always good just for feedback purposes, kind of like you're saying, like you see the guys talking in the chat and the things they like and dislike, and it's good for you guys as a company. So I'm glad you could come on. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's start with this. I said ice breaking question. What do you think of the year in Transformers Earth Wars? Like your highlights, things you wish you could take back, stuff like that.
Um, One frustrating, if I'm particularly honest with you, because we had to deal with half the year without a obviously Fabian left earlier on in the year, didn't leave the company, he went to a different game. But I think the most frustrating thing was I actually say it's our frustrating, but one of our best best things that's happened really, because the frustrating part was having that 6 month period where we really couldn't do as much as we wanted to in terms of bug fixes, in terms of we had to release new content because that's what Hasbro like to see in our game. So it also keeps the game running, so we couldn't sacrifice that. But also like the bug fixes was a main thing that we wanted to do more of, but we didn't have the capacity to do it. I mean, even I installed Unity at a point and said, look, we need to get fixes out, and I'm gonna just learn it all myself, just so we can at least push some fixes out at least. So that was a frustrating 6 months, but also it was the best bit because when we did find somebody, I think we did find actually the best person for the job in Vivek, who just completed the 50k Titan event this weekend. He's telling me, I just come off a call with him. He was like, I just ran for the Titan event. It was so stressful, but I loved it. And I'm like, oh my God, you did it. I really do think that, yeah, it was the 6 month period, which was very frustrating. But then just finding that perfect person was just like, oh, thank God. Thank God we found him. So yeah, I would say that is frustrating and also best. What other things have happened this year? Which I've been. What was the question? Sorry, just could you just repeat it just to make sure that I actually get every little bit of it.
Nah, you say you're doing good so far. I said the question was just like, just how do you think the year went for Transformers Earth Wars, and just highlights and the frustrating parts as well.
Yeah, the frustrating part was definitely running solo with a designer. We kind of had that period of change this year, which is just really like I know it always happens, but now we're actually going into 2024 with two settled designers. Whereas previously we only had one, so we've actually gained somebody, and we've actually got 24 with, and they're just stable. So yeah, I think the frustrating part for me was um, definitely waiting on a designer because you never really know how those applications turn out. Especially when you get tons of game design applications, you need to get somebody who actually fits the game, fits the community. I mean, money's never an issue. If I'm honest with you, Space Ape are always like, we just want the best person. So thankfully, we do work at a great company like Space Ape, where they're just like, you want this person, we'll get this person. And thank to find Vivek in the end, who is amazing, and you'll see more of him next year. And I think another highlight for me, going into a positive, was actually making something in the game this year was really super cool. I made 2 things this year. Well, I did more than 2 things, but you know, people will always think about the nightstick fix that I tried to fix, but it made it worse. But I tried. I mean, the problem for that was really annoying. But I tried to fix that one. Nose cone was just, yeah, I didn't think ever be aim. And nose cone, the green cremseat was pretty fun, even though it was like the most simplest thing I could have ever done. It's just like everybody has to start somewhere, right? And then just the whole legacy batch overall. I mean, I love working on some of these bots. I mean, some designers probably think I don't really want to touch a bot because it's 6-year-old. But to me, like, our best bots are probably 6 years old in terms of lore, in terms of what they can do and what they can bring. And it's just a shame that I know that if we release like most of the now, they would be way cooler. So I really want to go back and make them cooler. So I think that's another highlight for me. Sorry, I'm kind of like going through over quite. I feel like I'm cheating on the questions, saying quite a few things. So that's my highlight. What about you? What's your highlight of 2023? What did you hate? What did you like?
So I think, and it's I feel like I'm cheating, but I really like the Nemesis, and I really like the art coming to the game. Um, just because I see it as being extremely versatile. And the thing for me is when I look at it and I see all the different things it could do. You know, when I see like the harvest passive ability and stuff like that, and I see that I can go and do different combos. Because I'm one of those players that I use my Titan attacks on the base, and so the big shining spot for me is when I say, hey, there's an acid attack on the base, and when you look at the acid meta that kind of just evolved over the last year or so, I was like, this is something that I can see that can potentially just pull people out of just I have to use 8 acid bots on the on the battlefield or I'm gonna lose, and you know we have a
Yeah.
tendency to just kind of go overkill with anything that we get that's new and different to the game. Um, so that's definitely my highlight. Um, as far as things that I didn't necessarily, and it's not like so Alliance HQ overall I do like. Um, there were some annoyances that came along with it. I think that the having the defender spot is the number 4 spot on the base. I think that's weird. I know that we just got the notifications for when it's time to donate, and I was like, thank God, because players got extremely annoying, and like every alliance that I played in was just like, oh my gosh, donate. I was like, I can't. I still got 16 hours. Like, chill out. But
Yeah, I think the only thing what disappoints me for Alliance projects at the minute, because I have to be, I actually think it's such a cool feature. Like the idea of it's really cool, but I really don't like personally. This is just me saying it. Is I don't really like the how it affects his lower alliances and the requirement of low players needing to part with their spark and things like that. And that's something that I tell the team all the time: is low players can't be expected to give away all their spark when they need to be investing it somewhere else. So, yeah, I just, yeah, I'm so indifferent with Alliance HQ. I've probably says it all because I've had so many discussions about Alliance HQ. It's not becoming like a tiresome topic for me now because we're finally getting to the end of the tunnel and we're revamping the rewards to make it easy for lower alliances. But it's always been our feedback from community is just, what about lower players? How are they going to deal with it? Because the way this game works is people like to move around. That's the game. You know, they love to go to different alliances, like to help the lower ones, or like to go to the top ones. And there's just so much moving around. And it's just like, maybe we need to do something about that. Maybe we need to help
right,
players more. I know from my point of view, I'm telling the team all the time is let's not make a feature that just keeps people isolated alliance wise anyway. Let's keep allowing people to work together. Let's keep encouraging the moving around and shifting around. That was my biggest worry about Alliance HQ when it was coming out. how it could affect high players actually, just because from my point of view, my argument always was through the development process was, let's not just release a feature, right? That's just gonna block people not helping anymore. This game has survived for so long because the community are just so helpful. Like, I always see people on Discord going, "Oh my god, I'm gonna come into your alliance and help you." You know, the day that goes away, it's the day I'm just going to be so upset and disappointed with how we've turned the game. So I hope that that never happens, and I feel very strongly about this as well, because I never want it to go that way. I want this game to be very community, like, not all the time. I get it that we all want like the individual aspects and stuff, but the community stuff, I like. You know, we're not saying like you know, more community stuff like 3 million events. No, I'm saying more community stuff. Well, okay, 3K event. Let's all be happy. Let's all move around and help each other. Let's have some good rewards. Let's just have a good time. That to me is Transformers Earth Wars. Having the individual aspect, but also the community aspect as well. And I just, my whole point for the development process was please don't let Alliance HQ just change any of that. And that's a challenge the team have got now, because they've got me in their ear saying, you need to think about this, and they've got their ideas of how they want it to function. But like I said, we've got 2 new designers now. They completely understand where I'm coming from. I'm gonna see what they can do to make that easier and better for the players. Which the first thing we wanted to do was obviously alter the rewards. So instead of having one 100k chunk of spark, which is ridiculous when you think about it, or 300k or whatever crazy amount it is for a lower player, it's going to be broken up into smaller chunks, so a lower player can actually progress in the steps, rather than just go, oh, I really don't want to put all that in now. Like, I'll do a little bit of it, but not all of it, and I think that should be okay.
And speaking of which, so I know that there's been like a little bit of the delays of getting the chunks set up. What exactly is the problem that you guys are running into with that?
So we wanted to, honestly, we wanted to push it a week ago or so now. Vivek spent hours and hours and hours redoing all the different donations and things, and that was great. That was the easy bit, and then we implemented it, and then we ran into an issue. And the issue was that if you'd already donated to a project and changed the value, the server goes, actually, you've donated too much here now, so we're going to reset it. So that really can't go live, because if you've got an alliance that's done like 100 projects out of 300, and then we push the new changes, we can't really compensate that, because it's going to, you've got to calculate on how much people are donated, but also you don't want people to lose their progress of what they've already done. So in January, we are actually getting a new hire who will be able to alter the coding, because I don't know, it's very, very technical. This one is a very technical one, where they need to alter the server. So the server says, okay, you have donated too much, but it's okay because this is now the requirement. That's what we're gonna fix. So hopefully, when we get that server tech who's coming in early January, that will be just resolved just straight away. That is definitely their first project anyway, because we need to get this out ASAP. But that is the problem. We would push it, but it will just reset everything, and we do not want that. And I think the players don't want that either, but they really do want everything put down in chunks. So we hear you. We're listening. We are literally stopped and blocked by a technical aspect. But what we have done is we've given more rewards out in war, and we've done it a little bit earlier than we normally do, and that's because of the issues that players are facing. We know everybody needs more spark, more combiner spark, more combat spark. In a way, that's a good thing about Alliance HQ, because people want these resources again. I mean, probably yourself, you didn't really want spark until this came in. So that is good. One good reason, but we just need to be very careful with it.
Yeah, I got you, and that's saying it's definitely good to be on the side of caution when it comes to something like that, because like you know, and we were talking earlier before we started the recording, but I was like, you don't want to give anything else that's going to upset the community. So definitely want to make sure that that works right the very first time. So now I get it, but
I mean, something like Alliance HQ is just really hard to play test, because you can't just play test 40 to 100 alliances all shipping in. You just don't know how it's going to be. Like, we couldn't get like 1,000 people to beta test this. It was impossible. So yeah, it's always a hard one when you release something like this, but we've not had too many issues with it yet. We've had one or two which we've just resolved. For example, I think at one point we had the striker perk was just not doing anything for some players, but that's all been resolved now. So yeah, no major issues, but yeah, like you say, we've got to be cautious with it, and that's I feel like that's what we have been with it.
Nah, I got you. And yeah, like honestly, like I said, I appreciate all the effort you guys put into it. Overall, it's been a polarizing feature at times, but it's just like minor annoyances. Like overall, I do feel like the Alliance HQ project is it it's changing the game a little bit, and it says it's going to give you some opportunities, and I feel like it covered a lot of quality of life gaps, like for example, research lab times. Those get shorter using it. You're getting more resources, and you're getting them faster, which is going to help a lot of the lower level players. So definitely a lot of
Yeah,
good that came from
but
it.
then there is a lot of good what comes with it. But again, we go back to what I originally said, where you don't want to make it too good, where people don't want to move, and then you break that chain of people helping each other. You see, I'm on the fence where
Yeah.
every time we talk about this, I'm always reminding them, what about these people who are playing this? Like, I get that the top players are going to get it and it's going to be easy for them, but also the lower players, like they need I top players to just drip feed all the low players. It's not what I want. I just want there to. I just don't want us to get into this situation where you get to me, Freezius, go and you say to me, "I'm not moving this weekend because this alliance has got all these perks and there's no point me moving." That is what I don't, that is what I don't want it to come to. I would rather a player go, we've got some perks. But I don't mind helping because they're not going to change me in a massive way. Or they're not gonna, I might miss them, but it's okay because I'm not gonna be gone for long. Um, and the fence I'm sat on right now is I don't want top players to go, oh well, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. These are just too good for me.
Right, and that was actually one of my concerns, and I believe when we were testing it is one of those things that I did bring up because that community aspect is important, and you know,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, and there's as an alliance leader myself, I'm one of the alliance and family leaders for the horde, and we've run into situations at times where it's like, hey man, if you didn't have the training center active, somebody comes to your alliance for an endurance, and they're upset about that. So I'm constantly on my mind reminding guys, it's like, look, make sure that when we have a moving event, we've got all three of those, and so minor hiccups for stuff like that, but
Yeah.
definitely get where you're coming from on that.
Yeah. Hopefully we can obviously fine tune it within the next year because this is not a finished product as well. There's still a
Right.
long way to go for Alliance HQ. We're not ready to release everything all once that's to actually finish it. I know people are complaining that we need to finish it, but the goal isn't so you finish it within the first 3 months. It is a slow burn until we're ready to until we're ready to release the other side of the content. Um, but yeah, this is not a finished product. It's going to be more fine tuning. The chunks are going to get smaller, which is going to obviously remain the same. It's not going to get it's not going to be discounted at the end. It's going to remain the same total. The chunks are going to be smaller, so there's going to be like more to donate with, but it's just going to be smaller. So hopefully that helps everybody. But we're still keen to hear feedback on it, of course. I mean, when we go into any design discussions, me and Meryl and anybody else who's part of the community team are always mentioning into the team that these are the things they need to be thinking about, then they need to listen, to be honest. If people think that we just sit here and we just go, great, a new feature, cool, let's just release it, that's not it's not what we do. I feel like sometimes the team maybe gets sick of us at times because we're far too critical. But we're always looking out for the players for sure. They need to, there's some game they need to worry about and they need to think about, and they just can't just release things. Which they do. They always listen, but they're always like, really? They're just a little bit cautious too. So that's fine.
I mean, that's good to hear because there's two sides to everything. It's just like the truth of what's happening, and then there's the perception piece. And I think a lot of times, Perception when you running a company like that is it does mean a lot. And so then players might not get that piece of it, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, just to be able to speak to that
Yeah,
piece a little bit
and I
more.
mean, yeah, and I mean, I have seen your stream, and there'll be somebody in your comments that says, Dale is not listening or something, and it's like, no, I've sat in a call for 3 hours and I've told them exactly what you're complaining about now. I'm definitely listening, but I can't just go out and say, put on Discord and go, yeah, I completely disagree with everything the team's doing right now.
Right.
I may think it, but I'm not going to say it. But I'm definitely fighting it. You can, I can. Yeah, I mean, we can read the room, right? I mean, when Discord's crazy, there's no ignoring it. There's no running away from
Hmm.
it. Um, I mean, there's a bit of a running joke in this company now that me and Yanis have got a reputation, and it's all healthy working, by the way. But we have a lot of butt heads all the time. We're always debating about things. No, they want this, and then Yanis is on the other side, and it's healthy for the game. I think it really is, because you've got two passionate people who love the game, who love the community. Who just want the best for the game, who just want to make sure the game continues for as long as possible. And that's what we do. But yeah, me and Yanis debate a lot. You could ask anybody. You could have days on the days or Meryl on the stream and go, "What's Dale and Yanis's stand-ups like?" And they'll tell you. They'll be like, "Well, people just want them to shut up because it's back and forth all the time. It's not toxic. Don't worry. It's
Yeah,
not anything like that. But it is just passionate
it's constructive.
discussion, debates, um,
And
back and forth.
when you love something like that, when that's your
So
baby, you know those kind of conversations naturally come out. So nah, so I'm glad that you guys are having those conversations.
yeah, I mean, people don't really know this, but every day we have a stand up, so we all get together and we talk. Yanis's first comments to me every single morning in Hyro is what the community's saying, and there's no way I dressed it up. If it's bad, it's bad. So we do that every day, and that's where basically the debates happen.
Hmm.
We've actually, a year ago or so, there wasn't really. I mean, there's quite a few of us, but it was like a much smaller stand-up team, so we could debate for maybe half an hour and people wouldn't get sick of us. But now the team's growing again. They're probably like, Jesus, can we do this somewhere else? Because you're just butting heads for 20, 25 minutes and we just want to do our update and leave. So, um, yeah, it's all healthy. I love working with this team. It's why I've not gone anywhere in Space 8 because, yeah, I love the game, I love the community, and I mainly love the team as well. The people I work with I'm not just saying it would have gone to a different game clearly if I hated the team or I hated the game. I just like it so much. It's just so fun. Every year is a challenge. It's just every week there's a little surprise that might be at the end of the week that we might uncover. So yeah, it's all fun and games.
Nah, I got you. Um, I do want to ask a question since we were on the topic of things that happened this year that um, might not have been received positively. So I want to talk to you about VIP.
I
And
say VIP. I know what you're gonna say.
now to say, so I gotta ask you. So what was the driving force behind changing? And you and I, we talked a lot about it at that time because
Mm.
we spent what probably a couple of weeks trying to get that stuff to the new rollout to something that was going to be acceptable to the community. What drove the need for the change?
When when you've got somebody spending a lot of money on your game, I think you do need to give them more in a monthly reward. I think that is just, I mean, first off, going all the way back to the start is one, we were running adverts on our game and we were bringing in a ton of new players, and all these people were like, I've heard about VIP. What's VIP? So that just generated so much fluff in tickets. Like we weren't actually dealing with, I don't want to say that we were trying to like get out of doing work, but we had about more important stuff, you could say, like account management, recovery codes, But then we've got a ton of tickets that needed attention because you've got all these new players coming in and they're going, why am I not VIP? What's this VIP process? Because we had an application system back then. We must be getting about 200 or so a day. It doesn't sound much, but if you are only clearing like a few tickets a day, it all builds up, and then you're already behind in what's going on. Plus, you've got all people like sending in tickets because you've already got people like contacting us every week. There's no like stoppage in this game. There's always something going on, I like to say, on this game. So that was one of the driving factors. How can we make this process automated? Because we didn't really want that application system anymore. Because one, you're actually you're upsetting people, because when you reject them, they just go, well, I'm not happy with this. You know, I'm just upset. Like I hate this game. I'm gonna quit. They give you all this, and then you've got that decision. Do you actually make them a VIP player, or do you just tell them, no, you know, we're just going to stand with our ground. This is the rules and requirements, and you're not in. So that was a massive, massive question to us: is how can we automate this, and how can we let as many people know about this as possible? So in my head, it's just, okay, let's just change the system to have the monetary aspect. $9.99. In my head, I'm thinking, well, if they're not buying the Cyber Pass, it's likely they don't really care for these rewards. And already, we're not having any applications come through tickets anymore, so we can spend time doing other things. But we're also just like, in a way, able to offer a small VIP program to everybody, without anybody over the years getting upset and alienated because they can't get in. Now, on the flip side of that is you've got, historically, people who've been part of the program for years who now feel that, you know, we've ruined the program in a way, which I completely understand. But to this day, we give out more VIP rewards than we ever have done. Is that a success? I don't know. I don't really want to answer that if it's a success. But from my point of view, if we're giving out more rewards than we ever have done, roughly like double, by the way, because the VIP program was quite small. And yeah, we did ramp up the amount of people who were in it towards the end, but we're doing double the amount of rewards. In the end, people go, yeah, but it's all about money and things. For space sake, well, technically, if we stayed with the fear system, technically, if we stayed with a fear system, we'd probably be better money-wise, because we're giving out less rewards.
Right.
We're actually giving out less rewards to less people. So keeping it the fear system could be ideal, because we're doing half the amount than we are, then we're actually saving rewards. And then the second system, again, is it about money? Well, we're actually giving more rewards out, plus we're actually upscaling rewards based on what you're spending. And I think the main feedback is, and this is going to sound crazy, people were like very upset that we did like tiers that had $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and I really don't want to sound rude when I say this. People find it hard to believe that people do actually spend that amount of money in this game on a month-to-month basis. And if there's a small selection of people doing this, then why wouldn't we provide it? Why wouldn't we reward them? Because at the end of the day, everybody is helping this game stay afloat. No matter what your budget is, you're helping this game stay afloat. So if somebody is dropping that amount of money, yeah, I still cannot believe it myself, right? Somebody drops that amount of money on the game. It's crazy money, absolutely crazy. But it happens. And if it happens, then we're going to have to reward them, because they are a portion of players, like we reward all the other groups as well. So it's not like we made a bracket and go, okay, nobody is in this bracket, let's hope they do. No, the brackets we made are that, you know, we found a portion of players in there, and we offered like a bit of an uplift of what they're getting. Like, when you think about it like that, you think, oh my god, that is actually people who spend that amount of money. Yes, okay. Well, do they really deserve the same amount of rewards for somebody who's just spending $9.99? No, they don't. I mean, naturally, they're going to get things faster anyway. This is just a little bit of a bonus, of just as a thank you in a way. Highly controversial. I look back at it and I think the program will get better. The program already is going to go through some more changes next year, in a way that now we've actually gone away from what we're doing, I'm really pushing for, and I hope we can do this, is any purchase you make, you just get tokens instead. And then there's just going to be a token shop where you can just decide on what you want on a month-to-month basis. I hope that we can do that. No promises, but it's what I'm pushing for. It's been planned for. We're drawing up things. For example, if you're
I've
spending,
seen it work really well in other games too to that place. So I was like, if y'all can get that in, I think that's a definite bonus.
well, there you go. That is kind of where we're going with the program. So, for example, if you're spending, I don't really want to talk about monetization or bundles because it's not mine. But if you are spending at the minute $9.99, you will get tokens, not reward. But then you'll be able to decide when you get your monthly gift whenever you want, because there'll be a dedicated shop for you, and you can just go buy whatever you want. You want the bundle you get now, fine. You want something else, fine, go buy it. And the shop will probably rotate monthly or something. Again, it's still in very early phases, but that's where the program could go, is start rewarding people on purchases and then give them their own shop to just do whatever they want with, and then we don't have to send anything out on a month-to-month basis, which will be even better for us. But as it's evolved, would I go back to the old VIP program? Look, we've got people joining the game now who are buying the Cyber Pass and then getting a little bit more rewards. I don't know if I would go back to the older program, just because. And I hope people don't see it as a way that are you forcing me to spend? Well, in one way I would argue no, because if you're not buying the Cyber Pass, which is crazy value, by the way,
Yeah,
crazy
absolutely.
value. If you're not even going to buy that, I don't know if you want the VIP rewards in the end, because they're not as good as the Cyber Pass. They're not as good as the Cyber Pass. It gives no fact. I mean, yeah, they give 5-star shares, but nothing crazy as the Cyber Pass. So that's the kind of fence I'm on. I see people join the game now. They get a small uplift. Whether they stay or not, fine. But they've got a little bit of a bonus there to help them do something that they may not have had a chance to do before, because they wouldn't have qualified. They wouldn't have got into the program. So yeah, there's a lot. The thing is, this game has a lot of free-to-play players as well, who've been part of the game for years and years and years and years. And that is the next question for me. We've kind of just gone and done something where it's like the VIP program's changed in a way where, and now anybody can just, spend a little bit of money and get a bonus of rewards, which is cool in a way, because anybody can join the game tomorrow, right, and spend $9.99 and get a bit more. But there's a portion of free-to-play players that don't have money, who've been part of the game for so long, and I wonder if in this shop kind of system, is there anything that we can do where you will be able to earn them tokens for just playing the game, as a way as thanking those kind of players as well. That's kind of the next challenge. It's definitely something I'm definitely thinking about, because then we've hit kind of both aspects, right? You can either do that or play the game for free. So yeah, it's something that I'm got on my mind at the minute. But what about you? What do you think about it? I don't want to put you. I mean, it's a controversial topic, so I don't want to put you on the spot.
I know I'm finding the spotlight, and the thing is, like I said when we first started talking, I helped you quite a bit, just in the initial phases of the VIP changes. And for me as a player, is this: I said you get to a point of acceptance, and it's like, no, this is happening. And I don't mean like you accept it as in, hey, you like the new program or dislike the new program. There's an acceptance piece where, hey, this is happening no matter how much I cry in Discord. This is happening no matter what. So what can I do to make this thing better? And when I took the approach, I remember one day I actually got onto, I think it was Cybertron, and I was like, hey man, like, hey, if you got a lot of you guys like me, you trust me. Hey, I'm trying to help them with this, and they went ballistic on me. It's the first time that since I've been creating content that I saw people just kind of go ballistic on me like that.
I mean, whenever you change a program after 5 years,
Right.
it's always gonna cause controversy, and I completely get that. I don't want to say that we're, the lights at the end of the tunnel, because it's not. There's still a lot of work to still be done. But I feel like we've, pushed out more price price points. For example, $9.99. There's now a $50 option, so you don't have to jump straight to $100. And I just think that's how we're going to operate. It's more of a bit of a subscription, if you like, and anybody can take part. And that is the main thing. is it wasn't making a program to make money. It was a program that anybody can be part of, and that's the difference.
And I will tell you, and I don't know if you saw this on any of my streams or not, there was one criticism I had about the change. And the only major criticism that I had was, I want to say it was about April, that there became a lot more transparency about the original program and how people could get into that program. And then it kind of like just shifted like a few months later after that. So,
Yeah, I think that was definitely my bad.
mhm,
I really wanted to change the program in a way where anybody can be part of, but then that presented a new problem in itself.
mhm.
When I did that, there was a lot of people from that day who was like, "What? There's a VIP program?" That there was still actually people who had no idea that this thing existed, and you're gonna be like, "No, Dale, you're lying to me." I'm being genuine here. Like we are running we were running advertising campaigns at the time where Space 8 was spending money on the game. You probably saw fake Facebook adverts, which I don't know why we use those kind of things, but they were going on. I'm not sure if you had. I think I spoke to Wazza, who was saying that he saw like a bit of an increase in viewership on some of his videos. I'm not sure if you experienced the same.
Yeah, I
That we were,
did.
yeah, what I mean. This is what I mean. We were definitely running advertising at the time. That's not a lie or anything like that. We care about this game. Like I said, we want to keep this game running for as long as we can. But yeah, that kind of did present a challenge in itself in terms of, yeah, maybe I allowed too many people in, or I lowered the requirements so low that everybody were then getting into it, and then we just had too much work. We just had too much work. Whereas now, we don't really deal with any. Gone the days where we get a ticket about somebody quitting the game because they didn't get VIP, or quitting the game because they're not allowed. They didn't know about it and they've lost so many rewards or things like that. So yeah, gone the days of those anyway.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like you were saying earlier. Whenever you have a change to any kind of program in the game, uh, the initial response is probably not going to be as positive as you like. But then once you get past that point, like I actually happen to like the program a lot. Like in this, it's times where I'll give you an example. It's like I've only completed two endurance events. The one was for when Knockout and Skids win the endurance one. The other one was when Junk Heap and Wreckgar win there. But when I saw that bump of the prizes that I got that month after, I was like, man, I said, this is kind of lit. Like, you know what I'm
This is
saying?
it.
So,
This is it. I mean, when you think about it and you think, okay, well, what kind of players are actually upset about this? Well, it's not anybody over 9.99 because, well, they're loving it, right?
right.
I mean, because they're already keeping what they get. They're not going to spend any more because they're already getting the Cyber Pass. Maybe some of them will think, well, you're making me spend. You're making me buy the Cyber Pass. Well, honestly, it's great value. You should be buying the Cyber Pass anyway. Don't make. I mean, I don't want to be pushing this onto you. Like, I genuinely think that the Cyber Pass is great value. Maybe you think it's not. I really do. Um, but then you've got anybody over 9.99 is content. Anybody over 49.99, obviously getting tier 2 now. They're actually quite happy because they're actually getting more if their spending habits don't change. Like we don't look at this as maybe we can get these all to spend $50. No, you should be just going into the program and thinking, "Oh, I'm buying a few bundles. Oh, I'm hitting this
I'm
bracket. I
getting
get this
extra.
bonus.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
getting
getting
extra.
extra. Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
that's how you should look at it. You should look at the program like that. So anybody over 49.99 at the minute is actually getting the bonus. Anyone on 9.99 is just even. So the people who are actually probably not happy with this change are people who just simply don't spend on the game anymore, and that's fine. But then, should you be getting free stuff if you're not spending? Which is another argument in itself. Because now what we're doing is we're actually taking rewards away from people who don't spend anymore and giving it to people who do spend more. Plus, we're giving even more to people who are spending in the game consistently. So that's another way to look at it as well, which is just, yeah, there's just so many things that you have to consider with something like that. Like I said, there's a lot of free to play players out there that have been loyal to the game for so long, and I do think we need something for them. And I hope that the shop can be that fixed. But yeah, there's just I think they're probably the people who are feeling it more than anyone, because there's quite a few free-to-play players who have gone free-to-play anyway, who were part of the VIP program, who use those rewards to survive. But it's just difficult in any business to give things for free, like for free without giving because we are a business. We've
Absolutely.
got bills to pay, we've got staff to pay, we've got Hasbro's requirements as well to keep the game operating, which we were fine for the next 2-3 years minimum. I don't want people to say, "Oh my god, the game's closing in 3 years." Look, when I joined the game 3 years ago, they thought it was probably gonna last maybe 2 years or something, and we're still here. And we're even better now than we were back then because of all the advertising and things we've done. So it's just amazing, really, of what we've done. But yeah, it's just those kind of portion of players at the minute.
Nah, I got you. So, along similar lines, let's talk about events a little bit.
Well, this is another tough one because
You said you wanted tough questions.
no. I like this one because this is just one of those. These are the things that I've kind of these are the questions where these are giving me headaches all year, if I'm honest with you.
Right.
Because, and I know your question already, and I'm probably just going to go on and answer it. Is there's just too many people to please. There's just too many people to please. You've got, and I keep explaining this to the team. You've got some people who just want to play the game all the time. They want an individual event. They want 70k, and they do 200k every single individual event. They don't care. Small portion of players though, but still a portion of players who want that. And then you've got some players who just, even though it ends at 50k, they see that as they have to go to that point. Even if they do not, they're not a 200k player, but they're not a 30k player either. They're a player who just has this completion attitude, which is great. I'm exactly the same. But if an event is at 50k, they have to go there. When my idea is 50k, just do what you can. But there's a small portion of players who just have to finish it. Fine. So that's another group of players. Then you've got another group of players who just don't want to play individual events. That's fine. So there's another group. You've got another group who like to do 25k events, but then if we limit it to 10k, well, they're not happy. But then the people who want 200k are not happy because it gets limited at 10k, and you've got some people who can't reach 10k. So then you've got those kind of portion of players, because you've got free-to-play players who join the game who think they should be completing events all the time, which they simply can't. They need to grow like everybody else did. There's just, I'm just talking about so many groups of players here. You've got to keep happy, right? And then you've got people who what else of a group of players have we got? Yeah, we've got the people, you've got the free to play, you've got the people who want to go up to 25 and then you limit it, you've got the people who just want to complete every single event, you've got the people who want, sky high events, then you've got a group of people who just want alliance events, and then the situation changes there because some people in alliance events want 2 million all the time. There's a portion of players who want that all the time. You've got a portion of players who are like, no, I'll settle on 1 mil, but then those players are unhappy, and then we set out. It's just so many. So, where do you draw the line? Like, you can't. The answer is you can't make all people happy. So, who do you upset? Do you upset the people who want to push all the time? Do you upset the people who just want to finish all the time? Do you upset the people who? It's just, what do you do? Like, it's just, it's just. I don't want to say like it's a tiresome argument, but it is just like so many different cogs going through your head when you're thinking. Like when Hyro thinks like, what is the best event for these people? That's what's going through his head. And then you've got the whole schedule thing where, okay, you do a big event a week before, then you can't have one a week after, but then you've got a portion of players like, no, I want it all back to back every week. It's just, and then we do a poll, right? And we're like, okay, we'll start polling this. And then people are obviously not happy with the answer of the poll. Can I find I can't find any of the polls, but we did a saga that we polled. I'm pretty sure we polled every week.
Every single week, yeah, y'all did.
Every single week we polled it, and they hated it. But even when we give this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Even when we give you the power, we can't find a schedule that suits everyone. So the answer is to the event schedule. we're never going to win that battle. We're never going to win that battle unless we change events completely. Like the whole technical aspects of events need to change. The whole mindset of players need to change. When you can try and teach players that it's okay, because you know the thing is this is the argument some people use is they go, if I can't do 30k, you shouldn't be able to do 30k. So the event should cap at 25k. That's the argument that I get told all the time.
Right.
And it's like, look, this player is HQ18. I'm HQ. I'm not saying I'm HQ14, but the HQ14 player is telling me this. Why? Well, one, why are they comparing themselves to HQ18? Two, if this person wants to get more, like, look, people don't get this. HQ14, you're trying to limit somebody who's HQ18. The truth is they've got their squad already. They've got probably everything they need.
Yeah.
They maybe need one or two additions. You limiting them does not make them go any further ahead. You're only limiting yourself.
And I don't think that a lot of people realize, and it took me a little while to realize that too as I grew. I'm probably a top 10 player in the game now. Um, as far as wars and everything. But you get to a point where, like you said, you have the bots, and so folks, a lot of guys up there at the top levels, they're just like, I'm not hitting every event. There's nothing that I want to chase at this point. So they'll do endurance, and I know guys now that are just like, the only time I'm leveling bots is either the 50k IT in week 4 or the endurance, and the rest of them they don't bother with that much. But I don't think that some of the mid and lower tier players are seeing that aspect of it as well. So that's your chance to catch up.
Exactly, that's your chance to catch up. But then you've got the argument of, I can only do 10k, so the event should stop there. Or if you can do 5k more than me, you're now ahead. No, if we do a 20k event and you only want to do 10k, just go ahead and do 10k, because and this is where people don't like it, is they know that other players out there will do that, but they may do more, so they already have a disadvantage. I think in this game, it's all about yourself. Like, it's great comparing yourself to the top players, but these top players had to endure just the same. They had to go through. I mean, the leveling is easier. Top players had it way harder.
Yeah, we did. I remember. I was there.
I keep saying to Hyro, maybe we should. No, I'm only kidding with this one, by the way. Please don't think I'm doing this. I'm not. But should we do an event from 2017 when the top reward was a silver power call?
Right.
Top players had to, you top players had to deal with top prizes being a silver power call. Like, you've gone through it all in a way. Don't worry, we're never going to do the top reward as a silver power call. Hyro's watching this.
But that's what we actually went through, and some people never saw that. I played the game before combats, I'm just saying.
Exactly. And I just wish that players would just focus on themselves. If they can only do 10k, just do 10k. Just do 10k. Look, I see like a 20. If like we run 35k ITs, right, and people didn't really like them, I saw it as like, for me personally as a player, is okay. Well, the event was going to be 10k anyway. I'm just going to do 10k, so I would do 10k. But then I would probably get to a Sunday evening at times, and I'm like, well, I'm bored now. I'm just going to do an hour or two on Transformers Earth Wars, just, blow as much fuel as I can. I'm already better off than had the event capped at 10k. I'm already better off because I found time over that weekend where I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I didn't plan to do this, but now I get like 2 or 3 rewards more. But yeah, it goes back to the point of I just wish people would kind of just focus on themselves, just relax. I think that most of the burnout and things comes from people comparing themselves to other people, and they try and I think people burn. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think people maybe burn themselves out trying to reach other players to the point where they start not to enjoy the game. And I feel like when you take your step back from all of that and just focus on yourself and just say, I'm just going to enjoy the game and just do what I can, I think you enjoy the game a little bit more, and you actually pace yourself a bit more as well, and it's better for you mentally as well.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. And I can't remember a point when I was just trying so bad to just catch up, and that's like, oh man, I got to complete every event and stuff like that. And then, as time goes on, you's like, look, I actually do enjoy the game, but if I'm going to continue to enjoy the game, I'm not going to be able to go through every single event like that. So
And that is where you draw the line. And when you draw that line, I think you enjoy the game more. And you're probably enjoying the game more than you did when you were stressing yourself out to complete everything every single week.
yeah, absolutely. Now I will say this though. Now there was a point in time a couple of months ago where we were just it looked like the game was just seemed like every other event we were just adding like the opportunity to just gain extra XP at the end of the event. Like how did that actually turn out? Like from a statistical standpoint, did people seem to enjoy that more? I know you guys did a couple of surveys and stuff about it.
But one, I've always been asking for something like that. I think it was just really, really cool. Um, because from the tests that we ran, I mean, even when we did the 35K events, people were like, "Oh, everybody's finishing the event." The truth was, no, barely anybody was finishing the event, other than a small portion of players. People were just like thinking they were just behind. But the XP with no rewards has been fine. People like it. It's there. There's no pressure. We always had the idea of just rewarding people for the time they put into the game, just getting a few extra things. But if XP's that answer, fine. I see less people complaining about it than I do if they can't reach an event total, for example. Um, but then technically, is it not just the same? You know, your bots are further ahead than somebody else who's not playing over that weekend. Technically, they have the advantage on them. I'm not giving them a reason to complain, by the way, but
Right.
technically, it's kind of I don't know. Maybe they just see it as once the bots max, they can't really do much after that. So yeah, it's gone well. It's gone well. I think it's something that we're just going to continue to do. It's nice.
Yeah, and I definitely understand, and it's good to kind of just get like those kind of conversations out in the open because um, when I'm looking at events, and I think a lot of people were more content when they started to see the prizes come their way, and then it's like, oh, okay, well now I can stop. And I know at one point, years back, we were doing kind of like the optional tiers and stuff like that, and that kind of went away. But now there's this big push. There's this big push these days for people just wanting to see more individual events. And when you did the nose cone and drill horn, um,
That was the request. I said if we're going to do this
right?
to be individual, we need to test this
How did that go?
really well. Really
Yeah,
well. Obviously the price decrease is obviously old content. I think it was just slightly below one of the newer bots, which is nice because I mean I've always treated this as like a season in a way where
right,
I just buy old content. I just love the opportunity to work on old bots that have fallen into bad grace. And I feel like this is always, I think my ideal role at Space 8 was always to be like, be the community person, but if you can, do some of the old bots because I know that there's so many people in this like community who love their old bots and they love showing off their collections. I personally, as a gamer, never want this game to get into a point where we just bring out all the new flashy stuff and then you forget about all the old stuff. I don't like that.
right,
I don't want people to think that all our old content in this game's bad. Obviously, there's going to be a meta where you're going to have a selection of probably bad bots. It's always going to happen. But I don't want people to go, "Oh no, I just I just pulled this bot. I'm useless now." Like I mean, I can confirm that the next bots that I'm working on are Huffer and Lockdown.
right.
Um, and
And we kind of
with
started that process. Like, we hit a standstill for a bit, hit a little bit of a wall, but so there are going to be more
Yes,
legacy.
yes, I'm so excited. Yeah, I always treat this as like a TV show. Like I've just done season one. Am I going to get renewed for season two?
Right.
And we got renewed. We got renewed for we got renewed for season two. But it's just good, like just listening to people like, oh my god, will this old bot get buffed? We finally, when you see people now talking about old content getting buffed, I feel really happy about that because that's something that we have made possible, right? We've all made that possible. We've all made people believe that old content can be, brought back into the mix, and that's so true, by the way. Like, the legacy batch could go as far as, like, I've asked the designers if it could go as far as old combiners getting thrown into the mix, and old combats and old power cores, and just the list is endless. I mean, how this all came around was we was actually in the office, for a get together in September,
Hmm.
and I was like, please just let me rework Nose Cone, let me do a legacy batch, and I think the team were like, you sure the community really want this or really like this? Like, is it going to be worth the time? I was like, let me just try. Let me just see how it goes.
And to be honest with you, I
Let's just see.
I was in love with the idea of the legacy batch just because I mean power creep is a thing, right? And so the game as it continues, as you continue to have more HQ levels, and as the defensive side of things gets harder, some of those bots just aren't going to be able to keep up no more. So, and we had a lot of conversations throughout that legacy batch things. Like I was invested in it because I was like, I'm a huge advocate that it's like I don't always have to go have everything that's new and shiny, and that's the only way to win the game. Like if you got something,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
if you
Agreed.
got something and you can play with it, and and this is the way that I approach playtesting as well. I was like, if I'm fighting the HQ-18, can this bot survive, and does it do enough damage for me to be able to fight? And so I think I was the first one to say it when we were in testing. I was like, hey, this is what the point is to make it relevant enough to be able to make it through the current meta. It might not, and a lot of people will get stuck in the especially when you talk about melee bots. My goodness, is this better than pipes? Well, no, it's not. But
I
if you
mean,
ain't got pipes, you can use this.
yeah, I mean, pipes is another discussion completely. Pipes, pipes is a headache. Pipes 3-1. What can I say? Obviously I worked on Grimlock, and the idea was he's a leader. He needs to be, you know, quite okay. And then I'm like, okay, what can I do? Right, I look at Pipes. He's the best warrior right now. Okay, he's 3-1. What does he do? Slows, shield, damage. Jesus, does he want anything else? Does he want to heal as well? Does he want to heal for any damage he does? He's got everything. He's the all-round tank for 3-1. I'm not beating that. And people keep saying on Discord, they go, Grimlock's not as good as Pipes. I can't make Grimlock as good as Pipes. Pipes is just too good. Pipes has just got everything. And I'm
And
not saying he should get nerfed. I'm not saying he should get
nah,
nerfed, by
but
the
that was
way.
never, and I
I'm
had to
just,
explain to people that was never the
yeah,
plan to try to go carry him from. I say he's usable if you're
he's
in it,
usable.
and if you already had him and you had him leveled up. I know some guys that actually had Razor Claw, Grimlock leveled up, and they was like, oh, this is cool. Now I will say this: some people got mad about the damage part, but I was like, he's a warrior now, so he's doing warrior damage.
Exactly right. Yeah, I think you can't have everything, and I always say it's like tipping the scales.
Right.
So the survivability's gone up, but the damage has had to come down, and we can give him the damage back, but he's gonna die. So if I looked at a damage meter at the end of a battle, I actually think he probably is on par to old Grimlock, only because if you play the new Grimlock well enough, you probably deal the amount of damage that he would do on one ability before, but he survives much more this time. He gets the shield as he go in, he gets the Titan perks for a warrior. He just lasts in the battle for a longer period of time. Whereas old Grimlock,
Yeah, you get combat
uh,
sticking. The modern
yeah,
warrior combats are much better than they were in back in the day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, old Grimlock would go in, do a ton of damage, then dies. If people really want that kind of play, fine. Um, but, but for me, a warrior's got to go in and soak a lot of damage. And stay alive. I mean, how is Nosecone doing? Have you played him much? How is he going?
Nah, so I personally haven't played him much outside of playtest, but everyone that I know that decided to use them. They they actually really like them. Now, some people, and I said this before we even started, and that was always my skepticism about the project. Some people was like, "Oh no, once a bad bot, always a bad bot," and then, so you got that crowd
True.
of people, you got that crowd of people, and you got the people crowd of people. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna try it, and the people that said I'm gonna try it crowd really like them a lot from what I've talked to.
Good. Yeah, I mean, the idea of a bad bot, is always a bad bot is completely untrue because I can open Unity now and give Huffer a 400% damage increase. Does that make him probably one of the best bots? Well, I've tried it. Yes, it does because he just takes out a whole HQA to face. So, the theory of a bad bot is never true. They can always become a better bot. But for Huffer, for example, the idea I've got for him is I want to go a little bit different with this one. Is I actually want to give it, and I mean, I might as well, talk about what I'm thinking in my head at the minute. Is I really like Huffer's design. Like he puts a turret down. Like that is so cool to me. Um, but I think he needs two turrets.
I mean,
Um,
I can see that.
yeah, thinking more of like how a triple changer has two abilities. I think Huffer having two abilities, but one being an attack turret on a time basis, because I think at the minute is very hard to balance with it being for one, it's in the battlefield for so long. I would rather have a turret where you put it down for 15 seconds and you get that full 15 seconds, and then you can easily balance it. Because right now, Huffer's balanced in a way where you place the turret down, it's 30 seconds. So then you've also got to weigh up, well, the turret could die, so it can't be too strong.
Right.
And there's just a few other things that you need to consider as well. So with the new Huffer, thinking of putting it down for 15 seconds, you get full usage of it, and it's much easier to balance because you know exactly what you're getting for the amount of period of time, and it can easily be balanced around that. Versus, it may be up 30 seconds. If it is, that is good. If it's not, meh. I don't want that scenario. You get the full 15 seconds. But the second turret, I'm thinking should be a heal for the team. I feel like it would be. I know.
Nice.
I know. I'm thinking of. I really want the idea of Huffer to have two play styles, and this is where it's going to get interesting, because he's going to have an attack turret, but it's also going to have the heal turret, which can focus on the team. Now it's going to come. I'm trying to toy with the idea of two G1s,
Hmm.
because this is where you can empower your turrets. So the two G1s, one of them will empower the attack turret, and the other will empower the heal turrets. So Huffer could play two different roles in many different teams. So for some teams, Huffer could be a turret assassin, you could say.
Right.
But in my team, he might be a off-heal support who has more HP and can heal my team and can stay alive when he's in the melee areas.
Okay.
So it's obviously going to be hard to balance. Don't get me wrong, but that's kind of the idea I'm looking for. Is having, and I mean, it's just so interesting, isn't it? This is why I love these ideas, and love working on this batch, because we've taken like his design, we've respected the design, we're respecting the lore. Because every time I approach these batches, I always see what they've currently got. I do a massive read on their lore to make sure that we're not going to disrespect them in any way.
Right.
And I feel like with him being mechanical, we can get away with the heal thing. So if anybody wants to say that we shouldn't do that, give me a good reason why we shouldn't. But that's kind of where I'm thinking. I really like the idea of choice, giving the
Right.
player choice of what role Huffer is going to play in your team. I just can't wait to get started on this. I'm going to start working on it tomorrow and hopefully have it out for playtest very soon.
Okay.
But I just wanted to toy with the idea of what people thought about it, really, because that's kind of where I'm going with it. I think, yeah, put a bit more restriction on the turret so you know exactly what you're getting, and then giving two player styles in your team. Is he gonna be that off heal damage dealer in your team, or is he gonna be like this, assassin in a way where he doesn't really do any of the heal stuff? You probably don't even touch that turret in a way. And there's a chance of trying to balance both of them like in a hybrid way, but it's going to be hard to balance, and that's where you come in and all the other playtesters. But that's the ideas that are running through my
Yeah.
head at the is him, and then we've got Drift as well. and I think Drift's super cool. Drift is super cool. Drift is.
Yeah.
People keep telling me that they hate Drift because he can't wear a shield. No, let's embrace it. Let's embrace that Drift cannot wear a shield. Let's not make him like every other warrior in the game and give him a shield.
We've overdone that with the
Dude, I'm
rush
bored of it.
shield. Yeah.
I'm bored of it. I'm bored of it. Let's make Drift cool. Drift doesn't need a shield to survive. Let's balance him without a shield. This is why Drift should be so good, right? Is because he can't wear a shield. He can take an offensive combat. Already, that's so cool. So let's balance him in a way where he doesn't need to worry about that. He needs to go in, and he obviously he's counted by acid, so he can go a little bit crazy with him in a way. But he should just be healing large amounts of damage. He should just be like this samurai, just going in there and just healing tons and tons of damage. And he doesn't have a shield combat. So what? He's got two massive swords. Fight him. He'll put up a big fight. It may even be quite a good defensive bot if we if we up the values in a way where he's
Right.
just auto attacking the he could be very, very strong as a defensive bot. Those are the two. I'm only going to do a batch of 2 this time.
Okay.
Because I really want to put the energy into those 2. And then I can reveal the next 2 that I am actually thinking. As a little bit of a spoiler sorry, I'm actually just getting up the did we confirm those? No, we didn't. But where did I have it in my 1 second? I'm just gonna have a sneaky look because I asked for a few Huffer and Lockdown. So yeah, Hover and Lockdown, Drift and Barricade. I'd like to do Q2, Sideswipe and Off-Road as the 5-star.
Nice.
I don't think there's much work that needs to be done there. I think just giving it a 5-star and a few ups in the values will be pretty easy. But then Sunstreaker and Swindle, I think needs
okay,
some nice work done to them. And then Q3 is Afterbreaker and Flame War, which again,
oh wow,
be very, very interesting. I know. And then I know this has been a request. Ultra Magnus and Galvatron is what I'm pushing for.
That one's been like a debate for I don't know how long. And the thing is
no, it's a tough one. It is a tough one to get right because the models are different, so it's going to be the hardest one that I'm going to do.
What's interesting to me is this: I've had a lot of some of them play testers, but they's like, hey, how do you on the con side feel about Galvatronus and Galvatron, excuse me, and I'm just like, dude, like most of us don't use that. But but the attack is a direct attack to one target, so that's where a lot of the bot players will see value as opposed to Ultra Magnus. But these guys, because of the lore is they're iconic,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Yeah. I just had to do them.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting project.
Oh yeah. There was 2 that just had to be done. Drift, because Drift has always been like complained about without the shield, and Ultra Magnus and Galvatron, Galvatronus, who have always been complained about with the differences on Autobot and Decepticon side. So yeah, they're definitely on my radar of wanting to revamp. But I'm so excited for the Legacy, but even just talking about it, I just want to just dive in and just do it now. But it needs work. Work.
Now that actually, and this wasn't one of the questions I had written down when I first started.
Go ahead.
Speaking of differences between Autobots and Decepticons, so you have some Autobots that have fire abilities, and the con counterpart has acid, which obviously acid became really, really big down the stretch. Is there any plan to go in there and try to rework any of those?
Yeah, there will be part of the Legacy batch. I know there's one, Viper.
Right.
I know. I'm even going to double check now. I think I know most of them. Yeah, it's Viper's one of them. That's annoying. There are a few others, but yeah, they will be addressed in a Legacy patch. It's got to be both. It's got to be fair on both sides. That's kind of why Ultra Magnus is part of the Legacy patch as well. We've got to try and find something that we can make them kind of similar. Okay. So yeah, they're on the radar definitely. I don't like the differences. Doesn't
right. And the thing is, at the time you
Need-
didn't know it was going to be a thing. It's just like, who knew that one day Fabian was going to get in there and say, "Hey, let's we're going to change this and make acid anti-heal," and then that kind of changed things. And when I was looking at doing a series on acid, and I was like, "Oh, the Autobot one does fire here, so you're losing that
yeah.
anti-heal."
I think Rook is also a little bit different as well. Now I think about it, I think it's his passive because I have looked into this and I've literally questioned why. I don't know. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. I think yeah. Well, let's just admit that there are differences on
Right.
Autobot and Decepticon side, and I think that we definitely need to address them. And we're going to. We're going to. Next year is going to be quite interesting for the Legacy batch. Already, we've got 4 lined up, 4 releases for the Legacy batch.
Nice.
So, so hopefully we can do 4. It's all depending on my time. I'm pushing for 4, probably going to be 3, but let's see how it goes. The batches are going to be smaller. Hopefully they're going to be a bit more beefier in terms of how many changes we're going to do. So there'll be lots of changes to little bots, and I'd like to get combiners and combats in there. It'd be nice to do.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about that too with some of the combiners because, like, honestly, and it kind of leads into one of the questions that I had. So I got a lot of players, and sometimes, like, randomly on my stream, we're talking about completely different stuff, and the question always comes up. We get a 5-star Overlord and Omega Supreme, and these 4 stars that have been coming out for the last couple of years are just been so much better. And I think a lot of people would after all the work they did to go get that 5-star would like to see a buff for them and some of the older combiners as well.
Yeah, I think it's hard with Omega Supreme because his 5-star came out 2021.
I think it was 20.
The only way you're going to buff that is adding extra levels to him because I think he is a. There's this aspect that every 5-star should be better than a 4-star, but it also comes down to release dates as well.
Right.
I think that part of it is the release date of the 5-star because we're bringing out more 4-stars. They are going to have that slight edge, but when Omega Supreme gets more levels, he'll then have the edge back on the 4-stars again. We're definitely going to be bringing out 5-star combiners. God knows when. I hope next year is the year. I mean, I think we said this year that could be the year, and it wasn't the year unless we release
Yeah.
them in the next or so.
I was gonna bring
I
that
hope.
up because, like, I want to say players have been hanging on to since Giannis said that in the stream, and I want to say it's been almost 2 years since he said that.
No, he
And
said that in January, I think.
was it January this year?
I
Because
think he said it, yeah, because
yeah.
I held him up about that as well. Don't you worry. I said, you said at the start of the year we're getting 5-star combiners. We're now in December, we don't have them. And he said, well, they don't vote for the 5-star combiner bots. He puts them in the vote and nobody votes for them. So yeah, he's putting in these little when we do the community vote, he's putting in these combiner bots and he keeps saying that no one's voting for them. So the next time we do a community vote, think think make challenges to the team. If there's 5-star bots, if there's all the bots are a 5-star now, and then it's just a combiner, it's good to challenge the team to think, actually, how are you going to do this? Because I think at the minute they've got some ideas, but nothing concrete. So if we can push the vote, we'll have to speed up this thinking process a little bit more, which is just going to be so fun because it's just like, how are they going to do this? But yeah, I definitely see them coming very soon.
Now, with that being said, with the with 5-star combiners potentially on
Mm.
the horizon, do you think that it's a possibility that makes the game too easy offensively?
Um, you tell me. When Amiga came out, do you think it made the game too easy?
Personally, no, I don't.
No.
Um, and the thing is this: when I start to see offensive upgrades, when I start to see stronger combiners, when even like we just recently this past week had the captain rank, and so I'm the kind of guy that reads in between the lines and stuff, and so and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or you can stay silent. I think that whatever we got coming in phase three is going to be strong enough that we're going to need some of this stuff to stay competitive.
No, I don't think so yet.
Okay.
I don't think you need the ranks just yet because the massive thing for me right now is telling the team not to balance the game around the ranks.
Okay.
And I think the team agree with that. They don't want to, like, we just release a ranks. We're not going to balance the game around ranks straight away. That would just be unfair. It'd be just trying to force people to spend. It's not what we want to do. It's going to be some time where we're thinking the bots are actually getting quite strong now. People got most people have got rank 2, and I think it'll come from war, really, Prime League
Yeah.
mainly. Get the stats on how many people's got like rank 2 bots or something, and if like 99% of you have, then it just makes sense to up the difficulty a little bit more, because it is obviously going to be too easy for you. But no, I don't think it'll make the game too easy. I think we're always looking at ways on. Again, we've got this argument in war: is it too easy? Is it too hard? Will we ever find the balance of it? You make it too hard, and then people complain that the queue times are too long, and then you make it too easy, and then they complain that we're at 12k. So it's like it's a battle in itself in trying to find that middle ground. But next year, again, I always think that Prime League War should always be in a state where you're not getting to 12k, and it was probably getting to that point over the holidays now, where you're probably getting to 12k. I think for the holidays, that's fine. Everybody should just relax and not take war too pushy. But in January, I think maybe we need a bit of a upscale in difficulty, or February, just something to just bring
Shake
back
things up. Yeah.
shake things up a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll be something good. But over the holidays, it's no concern. But I think a perfect score for me in Prime League hard mode is probably around 10 to 11k is what I like to
As
see.
I have to agree with that, and honestly, um, I do get annoyed sometimes. There are some people that's like, look at this score, it's like 11k, and that's like, yeah, that's cool. But like to me, and the way that I always explain it is, if the deciding factor is who got there first, that's bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hate that. That's boring. How boring is that? Oh, we
Right.
lost. Why?
I coin faster
Because
than
I
you
had to.
coin.
Yeah, you're going faster than me, or I had to pop out to the shop. No, that's not a way to win. That just sucks.
Right.
So yeah. That's no. I never ever want to see Prime League hard mode in that situation where somebody just. I mean, over the holidays, it's fine.
Nah, I was like, I mean,
Just chill.
there are teams up here that they recruited all guys that are great at the game, and at the end of the day, that's okay. You know, and to your point earlier, there are going to be intervals where you want to go at the defense, to the defensive side of things, because hey, we're noticing a trend that people are getting, it's getting a little bit too easy, um, and that's cool. Like, I do feel like they're gonna be. I do feel like a lot of times, and like I said, maybe I'm wrong in that when you start to build offensively, like going into like you did a set of war effects recently, and we hadn't done war effects I think since February or earlier this
Yeah.
year, and it's like, but this is like one of the few times we start to see stuff on the offensive side, and some of the top players were upset about that. They're like, oh, that's going to be too easy, but I think they were pretty modest. But I think there's times when you give buffs before you go into something heavier defensively.
Yeah, I think that the holiday period is. I mean, how are war holding up in your opinion? Like, do you like the combo effects with fire and electric? Like, to be fair, these were my first war effects that I put together, and I just thought, why not? Why not do something for the other elements? I think I was getting annoyed from a
Right.
player point of view having everything on acid.
Asset. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, as a player, give me more options, please. Space Ape, give me more options.
So I'll tell you what I do think. I think the war effects themselves are. I think they're fine. When I
Mm.
really started to like things is when we get the cosmic rust blaster.
Oh yeah, because it obviously, of course, it
Yeah.
works with the war effects as well, because if you do fire damage, it will do an explosion, or electric will zap a building. So I guess
Yeah.
you're playing that as well.
And the thing is, for me, is, and this is why I've been a lot of times when I'm on my stream, I tell players, I was like, you don't have to. I see guys that go up there and they're like, no, you have to use 5 star through 2 star nightstick, and I'm like, or fracas, and I'm like, no, you don't. Like, you can just go out there and like, and it's weird because like with Top Shot and Fireline, for example, the biggest thing was like, hey, there was a a nerf, but I was like, well, when I look at it holistically, I looked at it and said, hey, immediately after that, the asset meta started, and you had that 20% combo off of it. So, like, how much did you actually lose? But people will not. Is it there are people up there in top leagues? They will not use him. They was like, no, he's nerfed, and I was like, but he combines with acid and gives you more damage. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that I kind of looked at and said,
I don't like it when players force their like teams on you. I just think like
right,
you say, you go back and I had a chat with another content creator about this. Is that they wanted to know the win rates of Prime League hard mode, and I got them, and I was so close to sending it to them to just discuss for their stream.
right.
But then in one hand, it does like, is that bad for the game discussing win rates with people in Prime League hard mode? Because the one thing that makes this game very strong is that we can have a debate on what's right or wrong. You can bring your sides to the argument. I can bring my sides to the argument, and then other content creators. You do this with other content creators, like best spots of 2023 or something,
Right.
and it's great to watch. Like I love
For
it. I
sure.
love what. Yeah, I love watching it. So I hope you're doing another one this year, by the way.
Yeah.
I love to watch it, but what I don't want the debate to be is, okay, we've got the data. This bot has an 80% win rate, so they're number one, and you can't challenge me anymore because you're wrong. I like the debate of what's right or wrong. And I just think if we shared data on win rates, it would eliminate the discussion because people would just go, no, you're wrong. Look at the data. Look at the data. I don't want it to be like that. I like people who argue no, it's good because of this reason. They might be wrong, but they found a love in that play style, and that's great.
And honestly, I've made my whole channel just basically off that principle. And I was like, one of the biggest arguments I get in there is, when you look at Headstrong and Bludgeon compared to, when you look at them, Pipes
Pipes
and
again.
Ironhide, and I was just like, and a lot of people they make all these arguments and it says, oh man, well he's cheaper. I was like, yeah, on repeat use. I said they both cost 3 that first time, and I was like, if I'm using them 16 times in the battle, then yeah, maybe I'd be concerned. I'm using them twice, so you know what I mean. So it's those kind of anecdotal arguments that I just look at and I say,
And I
yeah,
don't want it to come down to data, so that's why I'm very hesitant on sharing numbers
right,
because I do like listening to people debate about things, and then I'll check. There's been times where you and Wazza and a few other content creators will do your best bots of 2024.
right.
My head I'm thinking, are they really the best bots for 2024? And then I'll look at the data and I'll be like, huh, it's very interesting. They bring some good points, but maybe they're wrong.
Nah, I got you.
No, I love it. I love it, and I just, I love it. So yeah, it's just very interesting because I think there was one bot that you ranked like fifth. He had a very poor win rate in the Prime League. Very
Oh
poor
yeah,
win rate. So yeah, I mean, maybe that's another, So it's just, it's really cool to see these debates because this is where we think, right? You think they're really good, but maybe like people don't know how to play these bots, and that's why they're losing. And when I say like poor win rate, I think it was like 45% or something. I'm not going to tell you what bot it was, but it just
yeah.
shows that you find value in this, but maybe other people don't find value in these bots.
And that's a good point because I tell people all the time, I was like, two things that really matter are your actual tactics and then the team synergy. So somebody say, a lot of people will just go into Discord or go into the Line app and they just say, hey, what's the best? And I was like, whoa, who do you got? And like that, and you'd be surprised. There are people who actually won't share with me what their bots are. And I'm like, well,
Wow.
why are you keeping that a secret? And it's like, no, I'm just asking, what is everybody using in Prime League? And I was like, you know what? Since you're gonna keep your secrets, I'm gonna keep mine too. We'll just
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just interesting just seeing the teams people use. But I'd say there's people are there's a few bots that people are using the same, but then you've got a whole ton of bots that people like to switch and change, and you
Right.
don't see a whole it's the 8 same bots, which is good. I mean, of course you get 2 or 3 who are exactly the same because they are
Right.
probably a cut up of everybody else. But there's a nice mix of other bots that people are using, which is always good to see as well. So yeah, and another reason why we're doing Legacy as well is to obviously increase that diversity in bots being used. Whether it helps, cool. Whether it doesn't, and we tried. So at least we're doing something about it. Going back and
Yeah.
looking at old content. So yeah, all good.
So that actually kind of segues into what I was wanting to ask about is so you guys got a lot of criticism, particularly from top players, about endurance bots over the course of the year. And there's actually a couple of things that the criticism seems to come from, and it's like, um, one thing is a lot of the complaints have been that the bots were too niche, and
Yeah, I I've been saying to the team that I don't know maybe if that's my feedback going wrong with them, but we need something new. I think
right,
Blue Streak. Blue Streak. I actually pitched the idea to the team that Blue Streak should have like something that charges, and they actually, to be fair to them, they really like the idea and built a feature of like a charge ability, which was super cool. Um, but yeah, I feel like that is kind of where I'm thinking about endurance bots. I feel like endurance bots, yeah, in one way, I don't mind that they're niche because in one way, you might not know that before you release them that they're too niche. And in another way, we're trying something new, and I think we should. Like Junk Heap, for example, was
yeah,
new. Causes
Well,
us a lot of problems. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. We find a lot of problems when we try something new. Like Junk Heap was just something else. I mean, we still have quite a few comments about him now. About is it a revive? Is it a heal? I mean, I've got my own opinions on that, by the way. I think it's a revive, which is not an heal. But I don't want to say that that's
yeah,
right because other people have their arguments. But I know my opinion of it was: is it really a heal? Is it not a revive? So does that not then dodge acid? I mean, that was my argument in the team anyway. And there was like, no,
right,
because when somebody dies, they get their health back. So is that not a heal? But I'm like, well, it's like it's a very very odd one, isn't it? Because it depends how you think about it. Is it a heal back, or is it just
right,
he just goes back in time and he just goes back and gets his HP back? But then is that not a heal? Oh my god! Now I think about it, I just have a debate with myself about whether it's right or wrong. Look, that one, even I'm confused whether that should work or not because yeah, it's just a like how are we going to consider it? Are we going to if we consider it as a heal, then yes, it should be affected by acid. But then it sucks, doesn't it, to use an ability and then get hit by acid and then the ability doesn't go off, and that is my problem.
right,
But they did say that they would, because I said, well, can't they have acid resistance a little bit? So even if you used it, it would still go off, but it wouldn't get the full HP back. So I think that is something. I'm not sure if they did that or if it's something they're still looking at. But yeah, I'd say that was caused new problems. But in terms of niche bots, I know from the community side, we're just saying try something new, try something
mm-hmm,
different. Just try it. And I guess if players think it's too niche, sorry, we've got to try and keep bringing in something new. Maybe we'll get a bot where people are like, wow, I really like this ability. I really like the idea. I mean, Blue Streak, by the way, a charge up ability. I mean, now I think we could technically have like charge up combats and stuff if that's been built. I'm not setting the expectation, but
right,
it's like well, now we brought out this new tech to support that. But technically now we could have charge up Kremzeets, I think, and things like that. If you could use you use a Kremzeet once and then it charges up in well, maybe no, actually not Kremzeets. Now I think about it. Now I think about the design, but in terms of bots, definitely.
right,
But I would just keep encouraging the team to try something new. For an endurance, for me, just give me something new. I don't want to see like a warrior with a shield anymore or charging in, like I said to you earlier.
right,
That's why I did nose cone different. That's why nose cone was always a slow charge, kind of different. Yeah, he gets a shield, but he doesn't rush in. Very slow.
Yeah, and honestly, like,
Different.
and I can appreciate it. Just because that is one of the complaints that come from a lot of these guys. It's like, oh, that's just the, insert random bot with a new skin.
Yeah, repainted. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. The
but
last thing we want to do, yeah, is to
but
run an endurance.
you're mad about that, but then you're also mad when it becomes too niche, and it's like, hey, all right, man, you got to pick a lane and kind of stay in it because,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I hope that we hit a bot where it's not too niche and people actually see value in it. But I would just keep. Unfortunately, I don't know if people will hate this, but I'm still encouraging the team to try new things because you're right. We don't want to like a repainted bot after this much. I mean, we're already pushing our game engine to the point. I mean, the blue streak ability, like I said, was completely new technology for it. We had to build completely new tech, which is just super cool. So hopefully we can see more of that. Maybe more charge up abilities in the future. Um, yeah, it'd be super cool.
and I think a lot. I think most of the community probably would agree that what you guys did with Wild Rider and Blue Streak. So I mean, based off and particularly on the concept because Wild Rider, it's the same bot as Breakneck, and so like you had some similarities, but you had some things that made it different, and I thought it came out really cool, and I think that if more of them came out somewhere around that level, I think most of the people will be pretty pleased with it.
Yeah, I
Um,
see it being really good for jets.
yeah,
Really, really good for jets, and like I say, that's our first bot with that kind of mechanic. There's gonna be more, and I can't wait to see what other bots get it. So yeah, it's just super exciting that a usable ability can do more damage, which is just nice that we built it into the tech. So finally we've got something like that in, and just hope that we can potentially build something else. Because what is the other request that I asked for? There was something else that I can't remember now, but I have asked for something else in terms of what we should do, but I've completely forgot now. So yeah, maybe I didn't ask for anything after all. Ah, bad
now
memory.
now I was actually going to ask while we're on the endurance bots. So
Yes.
there's a little bit of a backlog of endurance
A
bots
back.
coming into batches,
Oh yeah,
into regular
yeah.
batches. So
Potentially some.
we're now sitting at 5 per faction that aren't in batches yet. It might be 6. I think it's 5. And it's like, is there anything like any plan to kind of address that we had so many of these endurance bots that hadn't made it to batches yet?
No is the answer. No is the answer, I'm afraid. Well, I do understand the concern. I mean, damn, yeah. I mean, if we keep going, some of the endurance batches would have been.
So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read what I got.
What's the list got? Brawn.
Braun and Full Tilt, Ariel and Scylla, Alpha Trion and Tarn, Junk Heap and Wreckgar, and then Wild Rider and Blue Streak. Now, obviously, some of them are newer than others.
That's a good batch, though, isn't it? Like, that's a good batch, isn't it? Yeah, that is going to be the next thing that we're going to address in the new year from the community side. That we can't ask them to keep releasing batches, but I feel like this was another reason for Legacy as well. Is we're taking old 4-star bots, we're making them a 5-star because we've got Nosecone in there as well, who's a 5-star now.
Right.
We're going to have Huffer and Lockdown, who's going to be a 5-star for the individual endurance. So yeah, I feel like with Legacy, I want to do my bit in trying to help bring more 5-stars to the game. So that means faster batches. But I also think that we need a team to obviously try and match what they did this year because we had the most 5-star batches this year, I believe. Was it
Yeah.
this year? Yeah. Yeah, I think we had the most 5-star batches this year, which is going to be 4. Was it 4 or 3? No, it's 4.
Think it was 4.
4, yeah. So hopefully we can do 4 next year. But yeah, that's going to be on our feedback for next year to address. Hopefully we can get these batches out faster.
Yeah, and it's one of the things. It comes up like almost every week in my streams. It's like,
When's the batch? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
get it.
and I'll be honest, I get annoyed by it sometimes, but I was like, I do get it because when I actually sat down and looked at the list of what's not out yet, and then it, the question comes up about like endurance. I feel like you're paying for exclusivity, but then like how much exclusivity is too much for any one
Mm.
particular bot? Like if you're waiting around 8 months for a bot, that's like you probably had them a little bit longer than you should have compared to the rest of the community.
Yeah, I mean, Brun was March. I've just checked. Brun was 23rd of March. I'd say now is probably a good time to probably get him into a batch, but then you can't really make a batch with those kind of bots, I'm afraid, because they're only endurance bots. So we will need we'll need the nose cone, we'll need the huffer, we'll need some others. But then again, nose cone's just been an event. He's going to be an exclusive for some time because it was individual. Huffer's going to be the same. So yeah, I think we need, between January to March, I think we'll see another 5-star batch, and hopefully we'll be able to form a batch within some of them that you've mentioned. Maybe 2 of them. I can't remember what we had last time. Was it 2 of them? But then again, it doesn't solve all the other endurances coming in. So yeah, we'll definitely need a faster process for it.
Yeah, I got you. And hopefully with especially it seemed like at the beginning and the earlier in the years it's easier to try to do that stuff than like at the end because usually at the end you might try to go get a new combiner, you might try to go get like a new Titan and stuff when it's later in the year. It seems that like that's been the process the last
Mm,
couple of years.
yeah.
All right, and so I got one more question, and it's just because it's really really current. Combats and weapons. So I guess there's been a little bit
Oh,
of controversy about that.
yes. What would you like to know about that one? Combats and weapons. People keep saying me Victory Leo weapon. No, not a weapon.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
combat.
it's combat. Yeah, I think people are seeing a weapon as something that can only be used on one bot. Not correct. There's combat bots and combat weapons. They will both use the same slots. Um, Combat bots are characters. Combat weapons are not. That is the clear divide between them. Weapons will go into the shop first. There will not be an event. You'll already have the 4-star because you would have done the event, the combat event for it.
Hmm.
The price in the shop, it's going to be pushing for $100. Whether we get it or not, I'm not sure. Could be 150 maximum. Um, don't quote me on any of those numbers because we are still working with a team to try and get the lowest. Obviously, we're fighting for the lowest price on our side because we're fighting for the players. But the 5-star will go to the shop. Again, this is all used by combat 5-star shards. It's not going to be any other new currency that you need. It'll go to the shop. It'll become an exclusive in there for the 5-star only. And then once we get 3, there'll be a weapon batch of 3. So no, it won't be a 5 batch. It'll be a 3 batch.
Yeah, and I know we had discussed before because it was so you'll have it go in the shop and you know like first quarter we be looking at and try to go put
Yeah,
the sword in the shop.
Sword in the shop, I believe, will come this week.
Oh, okay, cool. So then,
I think it'll be this week or next week. Sorry, next week. It's Christmas Day next week. We won't be going in there. I heard that we're trying to get it out this week. That could change because obviously everybody winding down now with the Christmas break coming up. So if it's not this week, it'll be first week, week 1 January or week 2. In terms of the batch will definitely be Q1 because I've been reassured that the batch will be Q1.
okay,
So you don't have to wait a long time. If you're one of those people who are like, no, I really don't want to spend money in your shop, fine. You don't have to. You can wait until the batch. I'm not sure if the 5-star combat shard price is going to be the same versus a 5 batch because this is a 3 batch. So setting expectation there, could there be a price increase? I don't know. I mean, it's a 3 batch versus a 5 batch, probably, but they'll still use combat 5-star shards, and the batch will be out Q1, which is January or February or March.
yeah, and I think for a lot of the community when they heard that it was going to be in the store, and they at that point they weren't assured that, hey, we're going to shortly after that we're going to go bring this content out. I think that's
Oh,
when, and obviously it got leaked to it got leaked from was the LP chat, Unicron chat.
yeah, which is very, very annoying because in one way we come to you first before we tell the players. Because how it works is we go to the team, they won't like this, but we'll present it anyway. And then you support support what we say because you go, yeah, we don't like it. So then we come back to the team and go, well, what now? You know, we said this would be the reaction, and then they. I mean, to be fair to Yanis and Hyro, they as soon as they knew that people didn't like it, it was right. Let's fix this kind of a thing. We're going to have a discussion about it, and we are going to actually resolve this. So that was really good, and then we got the information that it was going to be addressed. It was a shame that it was leaked because it really didn't do anything in a way because it was old news. Like as soon as it was leaked, it was like old news. Like it was just stirring the pot for nothing. And I just hope that we can still continue to trust that group of players, which is a focus group at the minute. It's like a test run of what we're doing.
Right.
That we can bring changes to them. But them leaking it doesn't change anything because the feedback that we got from you guys within the first 2 hours was enough for us to go back to the team and say this is not good enough. So when it was eventually leaked, it did nothing. Like just more people knew about it and obviously were angry over it. But we already knew that reaction because we spoke to you guys first. So we knew people wouldn't be happy with it. So yeah, it's disappointing that a leak happened. We are going to start tracking posts on who is actually reading them because we can do that now. So if another leak happens, we can say, "Oh, look at all these people who've read it. Which one is it?" Because we know we're in the online chats. We know who's posting it. It was posted in, Canada East. We've been in the Horde line chats, which is just really cool because you think we're players. We can read what you're saying, which is really nice because it's actually nice sneaking into line chats.
Yo.
One, it's really nice sneaking into line chats because one, I think if you don't know we're there, it actually helps give feedback because you're actually ranting about the game
Right.
in a authentically. You're ranting about the game, not to do it in front of me. You're not doing it in front of me. Like on Discord,
Right.
people may just rant because they know I will see it. But when you do it online, you know I'm not there, so you have a genuine issue. There's been quite a few times where somebody's complained about something online, go, "Oh my god, my ticket has had such bad service." I've actually found their ticket and I've actually told our agent to go back and fix this awful response because it actually helps us. You know, I really love being in line chats. I just get to see a whole bird's eye of people, hating on me and Space Ape and hating on what we're doing, and then that just helps me and motivates me to help put it right. It's just really nice place to be, and see players in a natural environment. It's like I'm going to like a natural environment. It's like sounding like David Attenborough here. They're all in their natural environment online,
Oh.
bitching about
Jeez.
Transformers Earth Wars. But no, it's great. It is good seeing it because yeah, it's just authentic, isn't it? So you can learn a lot from them, and I prefer being in there, prefer reading them. I really like it when you do events as well, and people are like posting what they've got or what they've achieved. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really nice, and then when we do something wrong, it's really nice to read everybody going mad. That's also cool. Yeah. Yeah, so I like it. Or when you're in a war, we read your comments, and then I'll go into the line chat of who you're against, and then they're talking about it, and it's like, this is so cool, watching them all like get really serious over this. So cool. But yeah, there's quite a few chats that we're in.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. That's awesome. That's how you just sneaking in there, getting intel. Just
No, I've done it all the time. I've always been in the line chats for years.
well, that's what I say. I know. I definitely know you were. I know you were in a couple of line chats that I was in a couple of different alliances. Obviously now I've been in the Horde for a couple of years, but uh, before then, I said I know you were in darkness. We were in there. I saw you.
No, I was in there.
People
Ah, damn.
People started tagging you a couple of times. It's like, hey, Dale, what's up with
Yeah,
this?
that's where I have to calm down a little bit. When they start tagging you, no, you're breaking my cover, guys. Come on. But yeah, there's been some genuine issues you found in there.
Yeah.
I think the most notable one that I found in there was from one player who was really upset. I think they had pulled all their combats in one batch, but one, but they mistapped and got it. And they were like, damn, support won't fix this for me, even though it was like the only combat that I could get. And the policy is that we never ever, like, once the crystal's been opened, we don't trade it back. But this player, like, it was his only combat in that batch.
Right.
You could see it was a pure mistake. He did the ticket like literally seconds after it happened. It didn't level, it didn't touch it. And our support team was just like, no, I don't want to. We're not dealing with this. It's kind of your own fault, kind of a thing. And he posted it online. I'm not saying everybody should rant online, by the way, with their issues, but it was just like the disappointment on when he like posted it, like, this is just so disappointing. And we went back and we fixed that because we saw that, and it was obviously a clear mistake. And then since then, we actually rewrite our policies in a way where, well, actually, we don't want this to happen again. We don't want people to experience this. So, we're always using line to actually write policies that actually fit our players better and actually better for our players, because it's okay fixing it for that person, but what about if it happens again? Well, the policies still exist and the process is still the same. It's going to happen again. So it's always best that, we found the problem, the policy was wrong. Let's rewrite it and make it better for our players. So the next time it happens, we don't have to rant online about it. It's already fixed. So
Right.
feel like that's where our support team is at the minute. Is my job. Another side of my job is like rewriting policies in a way where if you do make a mistake, we're going to revert it. Whereas before, it really wasn't like that. You made a mistake. It was, you have to deal with it now. I hope that we're more accommodating in our support team, where if you do make a genuine mistake, we're here to help. We're not going to be here like, oh my God, you just spent all these resources and we don't care about you anymore. No, if you've made a mistake, we should absolutely revert it.
Nah, I got you, and that's good to know. All right, Dale. Let's say I got one last question for you.
Oh, one more.
Uh,
Oh,
all right, and you kind of already started touching on it a little bit, but 2024 for Transformers Earth Wars. What does it look like for you? Like, is it anything to be excited about? As we go forward.
yeah, there's one feature that we're announcing on the Christmas stream on Thursday.
Okay.
We started doing this in February, and it's not a massive change.
Hmm.
It will change how the game looks, and I don't want to give too much away, so please only post this interview after Thursday. Are you posting this after Thursday?
Yeah, that's like I'm posting it
Okay.
after Thursday. It'd be fine, just fine.
Okay, then we can talk about it. We can talk about the feature. So this is an exclusive just for you, because obviously when this interview comes out, we'd have already done the stream. So this Thursday, what I'm really excited about is we're actually updating the whole game UI. The whole game UI is
Hmm.
going to change. And I am going to get you one screenshot that I'm going to send to you now to get
Okay.
your reaction to it. Because again, by Thursday, everybody would have seen it. And I don't want to talk about it and you're just sat here in the blue, but you've got to promise me you can't send it to anybody.
Oh yeah,
But,
absolutely
but,
not.
but we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you a little peek, little tiny peek. Please, I will get fired if you send this anywhere.
Nah, man, you got my. I'm not that kind of guy, so you're good.
No. I totally trust you. But this is a feature that I've been asking to release on stream for the last 6 streams. I was like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And they're
Yeah.
getting sick of me. But this Christmas stream, I finally won. We finally got the UI, which looks absolutely amazing. I think anyway, but it's more what you think, not rather than what I think. Let me just find you a screenshot of what it looks like, because your obviously your feedback is pretty key. Give me a minute. I've got here we go. Let me get you a picture of the bot. I think I'll get you a picture of the bot screen
All right.
because the bot screen looks pretty cool. Just give me a minute because everybody's posting about like how happy they are with it. Let me try and get you a decent one. I'm sorry that I'm prolonging the stream.
Yeah, no, you're fine. That's it. And like worst case, like I said, I'm recording, so I can edit out the gaps and stuff like that.
Cool. Give me 1 minute then.
And you had actually mentioned this to me one time before, and I said I don't know what happened. And I said I don't know if the rest of the company told you, nah, don't do that. Just
No, when we told the whole company, they were basically like, "Do it." They were so excited. I'm trying to find a screenshot of the all the bots laid out, which looks so cool, but it doesn't look like they posted one in a while. Just give me 1 second. Sorry.
nah, no problem.
Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Oh my god, where is it? I'm still scrolling. Where am I at? 25th of October. Damn, we've not touched the screen in a while.
Hey, look, I imagine your stuff pretty busy over there.
Well, we've had to. The thing is with a UI update, it's not just a refresh. We've actually ripped out all the old tech and rebuilt the UI from scratch. And if you think about how many screens this game has, oh god, it has been crazy. Like I said to you, it started. In fact, I'm going to send you this screen because this just looks super cool. I'm going to send you on Discord.
All right.
Are you on Discord?
Yeah.
That is going to be the bot screen. We're going to demonstrate that on Thursday. But look at that! Like
Oh man, that's dope.
the tooltip shows more. The key was making tooltips actually longer, better, bigger, because sometimes it gets cut off, so that's a nightmare.
Yeah,
I
we
just
need it because and the thing is, it's like as a content creator, like the questions that people ask, and earlier when we were working on the drill horn and nose cone thing, we were trying to make sure that we had the wording like perfectly on the tooltip, and this is like,
yes, it.
and you had to add so much to these tooltips just to get people to make sure that everything is understood. So like that's gonna be awesome. Yeah, that looks really good.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, it's just longer, it's bigger. You know, you can see all your stats on the left. Everything is just going to be a bit more, this is what needs to happen. I am so excited for showing this on Thursday. You'll see more of it on Thursday, but
Yeah,
this has been the biggest project. I am going to delete it now. Sorry. Have you seen it? You've seen it?
I seen it. Go ahead and delete it. Yeah,
You like it? Have we got a thumbs up from you or a thumbs down?
yeah, definitely it's a thumbs up, man. Like it looks good.
Yeah. So, the technical aspect is we've ripped out all the old stuff of the game.
Uh-huh.
Everything's come out. We've redone it from new. It's actually using newer technology. But the problem why it's taken so long is there's been hundreds and hundreds of screens.
Yeah.
Hundreds of screens needed redesigning, redoing, rebuilding. Oh my god! Like the people working on this has been somebody called Bill and Inez, and a few other people from the art team who have been working on it. But they've just been doing it from May.
Oh wow.
Start in May. We thought this will be done in 2 months.
Now, when you got to do it individually like that for pretty
Everything.
much every piece of content in the game, nah, I get it.
Every piece of content in the game, everything has been given a new look. Every single screen has been given a new look. Everything. We even had to redo the Alliance HQ UI, even though we just built that in.
Oh wow.
Even though we just built that in like last year. But this is it. This is a rebuild of the UI. We've ripped out everything from the old UI. Everything's gone. And can I tell you, the game feels faster.
Nice.
Game feels much faster. But we're also using this UI update as more of the well, what do players want? Like, what makes the players' experience now we're actually working on this. What actually makes a player's experience faster in our game? And there's going to be a few things that we're going to drop down from Thursday's stream, of what players want to see in the UI, because it's not a finished product. It's going to be It's going to be releasable end of January. We're aiming for. But there's still going to be work that needs to be done on making a player's experience even faster in Transformers Earth Wars. But yeah, it's amazing. It just gives that game the new look, more like modern look in a way. Like, this is 2024 Transformers Earth Wars.
Yeah.
I did say last year, and I regret saying, well, I don't regret saying it. I said last year that I think next year would be a big year, 2023.
Right.
I didn't envisage Fabian going to a different game.
Right.
I didn't envisage any of the problems, and I'm pretty sure that with Vivek, Jesse, we've also got a new hire coming in January. Next year has to be big. Next year has to be better than this year. I can almost set. I really don't want to go on the unrealistic promises, but
Right.
this year compared to last year, I remember doing my interview with Wazza at the time, and I had no idea Fabian was leaving. So I always thought that we're going into 2024 with Fabian. But now we're going into 2024 with a game designer who is just so good. And we've got Jesse, who's doing a great job with everything at the minute as well. We've got 2 new designers. We've got one more designer than we have last year.
Right.
We've got a new server hire coming in January who's going to help fix the Alliance HQ side of it. And whatever else we need is going to get hired as well. So it's just, I think we're recruiting for a few roles on Transformers Air Force. So yeah, I mean, all going well. I mean, the design side and content side's all fine now. So we go in with an extra designer. I just hope next year's a big year. I know I'm going to see it through. I'm going to be here for the rest of the year for sure. And yeah, let's see where 2024 takes us. There's already 2 new projects that are getting kicked off in January,
Nice.
which hopefully will come next year. One of them we've already spoke about, so I
Right.
can talk about it. And that's speeding up battles. So if you want to, I think somebody said, in an endurance, someone might do 300 battles. You'll be able to do the same amount of battles in half the time. I think that's because there's going to be like a mode. We've already spoke about this, so I'm not leaking too much.
Right.
There's going to be like a mode where, I think you get double points or something
Right.
per battle. I'm not sure about the design aspect of it, but the brief is you can do an endurance in a few hours rather than over a spread amount of weekends. So that's the brief. That's kicking off, and then we've got another feature that could really change the game. Like
Okay.
talking big feature that I can't really speak much about, but for anybody sat here thinking, what's next? Oh, I can't wait for this next one. You can quote me on this one. I can't wait for this one. If we can do it well, it is. I'm personally excited for it. It's just, we're pushing limits. Oh, I think it.
I
It is a feature in the game. I'm gonna talk about it. I can't talk about it on Thursday because we still need to do a lot of planning. But we've got the UI update coming end of January. Then we're going to sort out the battles, which people have been asking for. Then
Right.
we're also looking into the shop. Hopefully that can be done. Fingers crossed it can. So there's quite a few things on the radar that's going to get done next year, and then obviously the main feature. And I actually, like I said, I'm not sure if you got it on record, but next Christmas we already have. We always release something on Christmas. Like, we always demonstrate.
Yeah, I noticed
something.
that.
Like, last Christmas we did Alliance HQ. The year before we did the Cyber Pass.
Yep.
So for me, to the team, I'm like, this is tradition. We have to show something on Christmas stream. We have to.
Right.
So this year's the UI. The next year is the big feature, which is the big one, and I'm super excited. So let's see. Fingers crossed that they can do it. I trust in Vivek and Jesse that they can pull it off. So yeah, content. Whoa! I mean, we're not even spoke about any of the new bots are coming, which are basically player picked for the whole year. Basically, I think they're gonna like the one that comes in February. I think they really will like the name of that one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. For people who like going to the beach, they'll like that new one.
Oh
Sorry,
nah.
no, I spoil it. No, but I mean, can we cut that bit out?
We can cut that one out.
No,
We
no, no. You can keep it in. It's
keep it
fine.
in.
There's been here at the time. At least let's release the current bot bit. No, you're all right. You can keep it in. I think people will be excited for that one. We
Yeah,
can.
they've been asking.
Oh yeah, long time, a long time. In fact, I'm sick of hearing about it. Thank God we're releasing it. There's a few more we need to tick off the list, but we're getting there. We are getting there. No, I'm so excited about that one. Then we've got obviously probably a new Titan coming. I think the goal is to release a Titan a year. I think maybe we might skip that one. Not sure. But yeah, for anybody thinking that this game's dead and buried, oh, we've got a whole another year to look forward to with fun and games and hopefully Hyro breaks a few things along the way that benefits the players. I mean, oops, did I
Nah.
just say that? Did I just say that? Oh, and don't forget the new. We need a new Dino Gate bundle again, don't we? We need a new Dino Gate
Yeah.
bundle again.
I like how y'all spun that too, because it said it went from being like this big mistake to, hey man, we gonna put this as a bundle. I was like,
I
all
said
right,
to
that's
Hyro,
it.
it's like
That
we're
that's
funny people.
that's
Let's
marketing in
make
its
it fun.
finest.
I said, look, we made a mistake last year. Let's just do Dino Gate bundle again. And he's like, fine. And we just had a good chuckle about it because it was funny, but we didn't realize how much the players would like it. Like they really did find it funny. So now on the agenda is next year. All I'm saying is I can't wait to know what the Dino Gate 2024 bundle is like. What's it going to be? So now it's planting seeds into Hyro's head that he needs to do another one. So hopefully we can have another combiner, which would be super cool. But yeah, awesome. I'm super excited for the next year. I know I'm probably getting sick of me now because I've been on this game for 3 years now. It's been a long time, but I love it just as much as I do on day one. And I know the players were probably there's some players out there who are just getting sick of me a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm still fighting for you. I still love you very much. There's just so much things to consider in a job like this. But I just hope that I am fighting for everybody. You know, sometimes I fight for the high players, sometimes I have to fight for the low players. But truthfully, you know, I've got no allegiance to any side. I
Yeah.
truly just want the best for everybody in the game. And you know, my priorities are always come last. You know, it's not what I want. I always say that. You know, people always message me suggestions, but it's never what I want. It's always what the players want. You know, if players want this, then we fight for this.
Yeah, nah, and honestly, can't speak for everyone, but I say I appreciate you for it, and I appreciate you for coming, stopping over to the channel to come talk to my viewers. So I'm gonna let you go, but man, I really appreciate it. Had a blast talking to you today, brother.
No, no, I was just checking. It's like nearly 7 o'clock. Did we do this for 2 hours? I can't believe the time's gone so quick.
It went
It
so
it just
quick.
it's felt so. Honestly, I know we probably overran 48 minutes, so I'm very sorry for taking up your time.
Oh no,
But
we good.
I really do appreciate everything you've done this year for the community. It's been super nice. I really do, not just you, all the content creators, but I just love the content you do. I really do. You know, you make my evenings some nights. Sometimes you say stuff on the stream that I don't like to hear, but I need to hear.
Right.
I really do appreciate it. I just appreciate the brute honesty of you, Wazza, Soldier as well. All of you who just come on stream, you're just amazing. It just really, I just don't know what I would do if I came on a Wednesday evening and your stream wasn't there because obviously Wazza didn't stream last Thursday, so I didn't know what to do. And then thank God you streamed last Wednesday.
Right.
It's just so nice to just watch and see you play the game and talk about the newsletter, talk about the content coming and what you hate, what you don't like. So thank you for this year. Hopefully next year is going to be just as strong and good. I know this year's just been a little bit rocky. I know from my side anyway, it's been a bit of a rocky one, but I'm definitely sure that next year is going to be better. We need to be more for the players, and yeah, we're working on that. We're working on being better.
Absolutely. I definitely appreciate you for that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys talk about this week in you guys' stream. So I'll be there for it.
Me too. I can't wait to see what we've done with Victory Leo because I've not actually seen the design yet. So I'm probably when I get to see it, I'm probably going to be asking a lot of questions because I'm going to be like, please don't say it's a repaint, please. I've seen it. I've not seen it. I don't want to be disappointed. So my fingers are crossed. Vivek's doing this one, so I'm excited to see what he's cooked up because it's an individual. It's an individual this time, so that's interesting. It's an individual one when we come back. So
Okay.
let's see how it goes. Yeah.
All right. No doubt.